Y'all, I am just so excited to be in space with all of you all today. I know I was going to the different conversations that were had in our presentation. So I know that y'all got to feel as full as I do, okay? This is the fullest I felt since my mama, my grandma made some plantains and goat meat fried. Like, this is some fullness right here. This is some fullness. And so I'm excited and I'm honored and I'm thankful to be in community with you all today. And today we will be engaging in what we call the fireside chat. So you will see across the diaspora conversations about fireside chat. And what is this exactly? And, I don't have the perfect definition, but what I know it to be is like in the time of President Roosevelt, Black folks will gather together around the fireside, light some fire, have some food, and listen to what the politics was about our existence. Because unfortunately, to be alive and to be human and to be diverse was political. So we had to hear what was some of those policies. So today for our fireside chat, it's going to be a brief introduction. We're going to have a short conversation about culture. But if you are on this call and if you have signed up for this conversation, you will receive a full hour conversation between myself and the amazing, incredible individuals that I'll be bringing to this. So one of the people that I have on here is going to be Joy Thompson. And y'all already know Joy is queen. We already had Joy in the beginning provide their intro, her intro, until like her experience in her life. But I want to introduce y'all to a new sister. And this sister, what we title her as is Mo. And Mo is revolutionary in her own right. Mo is transformative in her own right. And Ro is like, Mo is breaking down boundaries. But also, Mo's an artist, a poet, musician, producer, rapper. Her studies on ethno-racial trauma healing through music grounds her creativity, using music as an intervention of healing from oppression, specifically for individuals who have been othered, most of us, right, by society. Mo produces and writes and performs hip-hop futurist sounds, honoring traditions and genre while expanding its boundaries. Her unique productions pay homage to Nigerian American roots. Her father from Lagos with Egbu Bongo heritage, and her mother from a strong, uncompromising, and while we're all here today, Black Indigenous legacy. Mo's music bridges the olds with the new and reimagined intersections of African rhythm and rap, all while sonically exploring hip-hop's relationships and its influences, centered around what it looks like to build community for all of us to engage. Mo believes in part of global consciousness, uplifting and embracing interconnection power and unity across various disciplines, industries, and places and spaces. Her music album titled Drinks of Hope is entirely self-produced because Mo is that girl. Mo's academic credentials includes a master's degree from Diversity and Equity Inclusion and Justice Leadership from Tufts University and a Bachelor of Arts in Marketing Communication from Black World Studies from Columbia College, Chicago. Her tireless dedication in advancing social justice and fostering inclusive spaces underscores very aspects of her professional journey. So today, I come to y'all honored because I'm going to have a conversation with Joy and Mo. Let's get it, y'all, to the fireside chat.
Let's get into it.
And Lenore, get
it. Yeah, so I feel again like we're in the same room, and I'm so excited to launch into this conversation with you both. And I look forward to the full conversation because 15 minutes is not enough time for all the genius and wisdom that is circulating and that you both have to share. But I want to just get us started in the conversation with asking the question, can you share examples where cultural practices have served as protective factors in your community and in your field of work?
All right, I think I can take that. Thank you, first of all, Lenore. I'm so grateful for our connection and thank you for that beautiful introduction. Hello, beautiful people. I go by the name of Mayowa Osinubi. I'm a community organizer and activist. I'm founder of Mics for the Missing. We spread awareness and advocate for missing Black, Indigenous people of color. This is very important. And I'm so glad to be tethered to so many folks who are shared in that mission. So when we think of culture as a protective factor, I think we first have to talk about what we're protecting ourselves from. And we as Black women and girls, we face very specific traumas. Could anyone attest to that? Just some reactions, very specific traumas. And we often underestimate the level of impact those traumas have on our suffering. So the harsh reality is we live in a racial hierarchy in our society. And as the ancestor Malcolm X said, at best, Black women, we are the most disrespected, we are the most neglected, and we are the most unprotected. But because we have to navigate such rough seas, I believe that that has made us masterful. I believe that we are the most inventive, and we are the most resilient, and we are the most brilliant. My opinion, I feel like some people share that in the chat. And so when we think about a protective factor, that's a healing factor. And the first step of healing is acknowledgement. And for my journey through Black womanhood, I'm still going through it. Being able to name a thing has been so pivotal in my own healing. So to acknowledge and then to learn, oh, wow, that's actually called internalized evaluation. And that's a direct byproduct of a deification of whiteness and a demonization of non-white hues. We see that every day. You just got to show up in society, from like social media to our ads. We see this in our job, in the institutions and organizations we work, the places and spaces. It's very interpersonal as well. And it's also very internalized. And it's once we can name it, I feel that's when we can really start to address it and then heal. So I believe that looking at our history is key. And so ancestor James Baldwin, he said it best, like history isn't in the past, it's in the present. We carried it around with us. So the history of Black women and girls in this country, in your family, in your bloodline, in your community, that lives with each and every one of us every day, right now, as we're on this call. So doing it for the culture. We always talk about the culture, doing it for the culture. There's no culture without community, and there's no community without accountability. So having responsibility for one another, to me, that's true community. And we're not responsible for many of the traumas that we face, but we are responsible for our own healing. So when we think about like the first stolen Africans who were brought to this country, they were banned from coming together and dancing and playing drums like they were accustomed to in Africa. And why was that? That was because the power of oneness amongst many coming together, like today, like ACE, like the summit, is really an opportunity to create some unbreakable healing. And if you use music as an example, I think that's a great example of culture as a protective factor, because it's long been a critical part of our communal healing as a people. This is
Absolutely.
ancestral work. It really is, right, Joy? This is ancestral.
Absolutely.
I know you're a music lover, so you
I am. I am. And as you all, like the protective factor from, anyway, I want to get Lenore's response on this too before I launch into my things. But Mo, yes, know it, name it, protected things. Lenore, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, thank you for that, Joy. I would say this. So recently, I've been experiencing life with my grandmother, Pote Jean Paul, and from an Haitian. She's a Haitian woman, and she came out like the countryside of Haiti. And she often asking me these questions of, where are you? And at first, right, after like colonialism in life, I'd be like, I'm grown. You calling me like, where am I? I'm at Target. Like, but she constantly asked me, where are you? Where are you? And as I developed in my own healing and understanding of having an elder to ask, where are you? Spiritually, where are you? Are you okay? Because I think a lot of times when we talk about the resilience and the power of Black women, we oftentimes will be experiencing incredible pain and burden, and it will still build everything around us. And what we don't understand, and what those who are in allyship don't understand, is that to have a better future, we need to have better peace for Black women. So where am I? I'm stressed, or I'm sad, or I'm depressed, or I might need medication, or I might need to go to a doctor, or where am I? Here's where I'm at. And those are the things that I've learned with my grandmother, who's also a doula, of where am I after having children? But then also, where am I physically? Because right now we see that Black women and girls who are experiencing high rates of missing and exploited.
Yes.
Where are you? Where are you? Because if you are no longer here on the earth side, we deserve to bury you. And we deserve to have an investigation for you. Where are you? If you're at home experiencing domestic violence, we need to come get you. Where are you? If you are at home sitting lonely and depressed, where are you? We need to knock down those doors and come find you and experience joy. Where are you? So when we talk about culture being a protective factor, elders is a protective factor that Blackness brings into it. I love where we sit and stand, because young people are the ones who pilot and expand and explore new worlds. But elders are the ones who root it in who we are and our experiences.
Yes.
So we're in Maya's culture as a protective factor is honoring our elders, honoring those that come before us, those that are on earth side and those that are not. Those that are directors, maybe if we're managers, those who are, at home cooking the foods while we're over here doing these tech jobs, the elders that we ignore so many times are the pillars to what we need to for tomorrow.
Pillars.
And so Black culture honors elders. Like before we had government systems and before we had laws that became in a colonial space, we had elders. So when you look at your policies and your Congress and running for office, you had to run to be chief in the motherland.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't teach us strategy. We taught them it with compassion. So culture as a protective factor, we need to have compassionate leaders, and Blackness has taught me that.
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you both as a music nerd and someone who just this past weekend really benefited from that intergenerational time. But recently I was at an art gallery and Dr. Angela Davis was speaking, and it was at the start of Black August, which we don't have time to get into that now, but we are in the midst of it, and this is intentional. But she was talking about we did great things and we also made some mistakes, learn from our mistakes, and so the humility in that and the things that we gain from that in our lineage, we have to have that in order to move forward. And we also have to grab the people who are going to take us on. But the other thing that's coming up for me around culture as a protective factor is really around the things that my grandma did, like she grew tomatoes. We would sit on the front porch with a salt shaker and eat tomatoes. My mother grows vegetables too. And I think of indigenous communities like the Ohlone tribes that have been stewards of this land of Oakland, California for a millennia. These folks took care of the land, they took care of the ocean. So when I think of culture as a protective factor, is yes, it's got me and it's got our community, but these are the original sustainability practices. These are the things that keep us as a global community healthy and well, which is the thing that I was hoping we would learn from the pandemic, is that there are no borders, that we are all impacted by the communities that are surrounding us, and that we can't do for one without doing for others. But when we look at these indigenous practices, they help us in the service of those things. The other thing is that, we are confronting race-based bias that absolutely unfortunately leads to death for Black girls and Black women. These are conversations that none of us on the call are shying away from. You as participants are not shying away from. And what that means is that we are in a heart space. And when we are in a heart space, we are oftentimes actively navigating grief or triggers or things like that. And when I think about the community and people in New Orleans, and you hear that second line, that we are dancing, to Alexandria's point, like dance is medicine. We are dancing while we are grieving. We are singing while we are grieving. And these are the same practice that we see in West African culture. And so when you see Black women and Black girls moving their bodies and dancing, it is not an absence of all the things that we're going through, but it is because we are releasing that. That is a somatic healing practice. So there's so many ways that just the things that we do, we think we're just doing this, but they are gifts from our ancestors. And so there's so much of this, and I really could go on, but I just want to say that just to notice the ways that you don't have to necessarily have to find something new to do, but that thing that you have been doing is healing you and healing the people around you and creating sustainability for the broader global community.
Wow, I couldn't agree more with both of you all there. You can't have a tree without roots, and like I think that's the thread between everything we said is getting back to the roots and the intergenerational connection, and really understanding where we came from and taking those learnings into the future. So, man, the next 45 minutes, y'all, will be lit the next time we get together and send that out to everybody. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Thank you both for this brief conversation. I know we could talk for a full few
Full
hours.
hour.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm gonna pass it on to Lenore so we can move on to the next phase of this conversation, and we can go ahead and go to the next slide.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Mo.
Do
Thank
I
you
have
so
do
much.
I have 1 minute? I did want to share
Let's
like
go.
so this is just an organic moment, Joy. I'm reading Black Girl You Are Atlas by Renee Watson, and just thinking of what everyone just said today just made me think of this poem in this book. And so I just want to read it really quickly. It's called A Black Girl Gives Thanks. For the aunties by blood and by choice who knew how to give a warning, to look or clear their throats, or sitting forward just enough to get the point across. For every peppermint candy in Werther's Original smuggled from hand to hand on Sunday mornings, for hand clapping games, a hula hoop and roller skates, a brown baby doll, or a brown angel on top of a Christmas tree, for all the gossip swirling around, two young ears at the family gathering, for prayers and warnings, for the advice asked for and advice given, for pressed combs and royal crown hair grease, for brown hands that braid and twist thick tresses, for the way, girl, it's song, it's confirmation, it's chastisement, it's prayer. For cornbread and honey butter, and always a crock pot holding home. For freedom fighters and protest poets, for every tall tale past that tells the story that we survived, how we survived. Oh, give thanks. Oh, give thanks.
Ashe. Thank you for that, Mo. And before we wrap this portion, Mo, can you repeat the title of that book? Black Girl, You Are Atlas. Got it. Thank you, thank you. Whew.
Much. That
Thank
that
you.
was cool. So to join us, we will be having a full conversation with the incredible Mo. That experience that you all have, we have a full conversation of it. So those who registered and those who want to share it to their sister friends, you will receive an email with all of the resources, including that book title and including a full conversation of culture as a protective factor for Black girls. Thank you, Mo.